Have you ever wondered what happens inside a dog's mind when the person they love most dies? Not when someone leaves for work, not when they're gone for a vacation, but when they're gone forever. It's a heartbreaking question, and the answer is far more emotional than most people realize. Because for a dog, you are not simply the person who fills a food bowl or throws a ball across the yard. You are their routine, their comfort, their safety, their family. Their entire world often revolves around you in ways most owners never fully understand. Every morning they listen for your footsteps. Every evening they wait for the sound of your voice. They learn your schedule, recognize your scent, memorize the sound of your car, and somehow know when you're sad even before other humans notice. That's why what happens after an owner's death can be so heartbreaking to witness. And the more scientists study dogs, the more they discover that these animals may experience grief in ways that are surprisingly similar to us. For years, many people believed dogs simply reacted to changes in routine. After all, if someone dies, feeding times change, walks change, and daily habits change. It seemed logical to assume that dogs were responding only to those disruptions. But modern research has revealed something much deeper. Scientists have found that when dogs interact with people they love, their brains release oxytocin, sometimes called the love hormone. This is the same hormone involved in the bond between parents and children. In one famous experiment, researchers discovered that when dogs and owners looked into each other's eyes, oxytocin levels increased in both. Think about that for a moment. The connection isn't one-sided. Your dog isn't just attached to you emotionally. Their brain is literally wired to bond with you, which means when an owner disappears forever, that bond doesn't simply vanish overnight. One of the most famous examples happened nearly a century ago in Japan. A small Akita dog named Hachikō walked with his owner to the train station every morning and returned every evening to greet him when he came home from work. It became a routine so predictable that local shopkeepers and station workers saw it every day. Then one afternoon, Hachiko's owner suffered a fatal stroke while at work. He never returned home. But Hachiko didn't know that. All he knew was that evening had arrived and his best friend wasn't stepping off the train. So he waited. The next day he returned. Then the next. Then the next. Week after week, month after month, year after year. For nearly a decade, Hachiko continued showing up at that station. Imagine the loyalty required for that. Imagine the hope. Every train that arrived probably felt like another chance. Every passenger stepping onto the platform might have been the person he was waiting for. The world remembers Hachiko because his story is extraordinary. But animal behaviorists say the emotions behind his actions are not unusual at all. Veterinarians regularly report dogs showing signs of grief after losing an owner. Some refuse food, others become unusually quiet. Some sleep much more than normal. Others wander through the house, searching room after room. One golden retriever reportedly spent weeks lying beside the recliner where his owner used to sit every evening. Family members tried everything to comfort him, but every night he returned to that same spot. Another dog repeatedly waited beside a front window for months, because that was where she watched her owner return from work every day. These stories sound almost human because grief itself is a universal response to losing someone important. Dogs may not understand death the way we do, but they absolutely understand absence. And perhaps that's what makes their grief so painful. Humans eventually learn what happened. We attend funerals, we hear explanations. We understand concepts like illness, aging, and mortality. Dogs don't have those explanations. Imagine waking up one morning and the most important person in your life is simply gone. No goodbye. No understanding of why. Just an empty chair, a silent voice, and a scent that slowly begins to disappear. That is the reality many grieving dogs face. Some behaviorists believe dogs continue searching because they are trying to solve a mystery. Their brain expects their owner to return because that's what has always happened before. Every previous absence eventually ended. Every trip, every workday, every errand ended with a reunion. So when a reunion never comes, confusion can linger for a very long time. What's especially fascinating is that dogs don't grieve in exactly the same way. Just as humans respond differently to loss, every dog reacts differently too. Some become withdrawn and quiet, others become unusually clingy toward remaining family members. Some lose interest in toys they once loved. Others become anxious whenever someone leaves the house because they're afraid that person won't come back either. Researchers studying canine behavior have documented cases where dogs developed separation anxiety after losing an owner, even if they had never shown those behaviors before. It's as though the loss changes the way they view the world. A place that once felt predictable suddenly feels uncertain. One story that deeply affected veterinarians involved an elderly German shepherd whose owner had passed away after a long illness. During the owner's final months, the dog rarely left his side. Family members often found him sleeping beside the hospital bed, refusing to leave even when encouraged. After the owner's death, the dog spent weeks walking into the bedroom, looking around, and quietly leaving again. He repeated the same behavior every day. Eventually, the family moved some furniture and rearranged the room, but the dog still visited it regularly. It was as though a part of him couldn't stop checking, couldn't stop hoping, couldn't stop believing that maybe this time things would be different. Stories like these force us to reconsider how deeply dogs experience the world around them. We often think of dogs as simple creatures motivated by food, treats, and games. Yet research increasingly suggests their emotional lives are far richer than we once believed. Studies using brain scans have shown that dogs process social bonds in ways remarkably similar to humans. Areas of the brain associated with positive emotions become active when they smell familiar people. In some experiments, a dog's response to its owner's scent was stronger than its response to food. Let that sink in for a moment. Food is incredibly important to a dog, yet the smell of someone they love can be even more meaningful. And that's why the loss of an owner can leave such a profound mark. Not because dogs understand every detail of death, but because they understand connection. They understand love. They understand companionship. They understand what it means for someone important to be part of their life every single day. And when that connection disappears, the world feels different.